Hey, what's going on, Metro Manila? You're tuned into 99.5 Play FM, and today we're joined by someone who has taken the world by the possibly chillest storm ever. His debut full-length album, Her and All My Friends, is out on streaming services right now, but you've most likely heard his cover of the Corinne Bailey Rae classic, Put Your Records On. Please welcome RITT MOMNEY!
Uh,
What's going on, Jack? How are you feeling tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, it's a good day.
Yeah, have you had dinner? I did not mean to interrupt your like smack dab in the middle of your dinner plans.
Oh no, you're totally fine. I just actually just got a bean and cheese burrito. So
Perfect. Bean and cheese burrito in the belly, ready for some questions now.
yeah.
So the crazy single, I mean, it popped off. I mean, it's everywhere. It was crazy, and I'm pretty sure you have more appreciation for it. But I'm pretty sure there's a part of you that's just like, dang, I've been talking about this single for the past almost a year. But I'm pretty sure the appreciation is still there. But the crazy story, I mean, of how it happened is basically you grew up with the song, your mom blasting it in the car. And I think I could say the same thing. My mom loved Corinne Bailey Rae, and I grew up to that song as well, and I absolutely love the cover. So, I mean, what was it like, kind of sitting in your studio back at home? You kind of did the cover as a way to combat sadness and dreariness during everything that was going on. What made you choose Put Your Records On? Were there like a few other songs from your childhood that you were kind of choosing from, or what made you land on this one?
It really was. I don't know. I kind of just I wasn't really like, oh, I want to do a song from my childhood, and then like looking, and then like I didn't say that, and then like look for one. I guess it was kind of like I heard the song again for the first time in a really long time, and I was like, oh man, this would be awesome to do. I really liked the idea of doing a cover in general, just because I wanted to have like fun with the production without having like the weight of like the songwriting aspect. And
Yeah.
like that is like it's one of like the lightest songs ever,
Right.
which felt like it would be nice to kind of combat the feelings that were going around like the entire world at the time. Um, but yeah.
Right. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it is true when you mention that, as a songwriter, when you're creating music on your own, there is that kind of weight of, okay, it's got to sound good, but also it's got to, be true to myself and has all that pressure. So again, as you mentioned with a cover, you kind of alleviate that stress. I mean, were you writing music post Her and All of My Friends in the middle of coming up with a cover? Because for those of you who may not have heard his previous music, you're getting much of what you hear in the cover, but of course about your own personal story. So were you kind of in the middle of creating new music for RITT MOMNEY when you landed on the cover?
Kind of, yeah. Like there was actually like I kind of like there's a time when I it was really hard for me to work on music after I put out the first album, and
Right.
it I kind of just like I burnt myself out like really hard,
Right.
like trying to like hit like the deadlines that I'd set for myself for the first album, and then yeah, it came out. Oh man, I didn't even listen to music for like a month. I just hated listening to music,
Right.
and then like I didn't work on anything for maybe a few more months after that. And I was kind of like starting to get back into it, kind of starting to to work on stuff, um, but I wasn't really like in the throes of it for um, like by the time that I decided to cover that song. I was like, oh man, a cover would be awesome. Like I realized that what I what was like weighing me down was like the songwriting and just the idea of, oh great, this song is gonna suck. It's never gonna live up to like what I've done
What it like
before.
it's in your brain, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh well, I can just if I'm just using one of like the best songs ever, then I don't have to worry about that at all. Um,
Yeah.
and I could have fun with the production and stuff without having to worry about the song sucking. Um, but
But I mean, like the whole song, I mean, was, again, as I mentioned before, it really hit so many places. I mean, it's got, hundreds of millions of streams. It blew up on TikTok, and it's crazy considering, you were in that place where you were kind of almost scared to listen to music and afraid, and the reaction to the song has been, crazy as well. I mean, you have so many people loving it, and a bunch of people having things to say about it. But you even got to talk to Corinne Bailey Ray herself. Biggest things you've learned about, I guess, songwriting and about yourself as an artist, in the, well, I wouldn't say the fallout, but just more like, the aftermath of releasing this record.
yeah, I mean, I think uh, I think the biggest thing is like is how I mean, like songwriting itself is so uni- universal,
Right.
and like timeless. I think
Mhm.
like maybe if like the 2006 version of Put Your Records On came out now, then like people might not like the style or anything, or
Right.
like but like obviously like if someone listened to it they'd be like, this is a good song, it just
Yeah.
sounds like it's from 2006.
Yeah.
And like it's just super impressive that Corinne put out a song that has that like timelessness to it, like that can get popular in 2020 and in 2006. um so yeah, that was inspiring to me. Like it makes me want to have like a song like that at some point. And like it makes me want to work towards that, I guess. um I mean, yeah, I would say that's probably the biggest thing I've learned.
Right. It's almost like we're going through a cycle. I mean, you have all these artists, these up and coming young artists creating music that was inspired by their childhoods. Like you have like people like Biba Doobie making songs that sound like Liz Phair from like the early 2000s, and it really is kind of like repeating itself. But I think, I mean, nostalgia is a natural place to go to as a musician, as an artist. But considering that, and considering the success of this single and the music video, which you collaborated with Ian, the makeup artist who kind of first used it on TikTok. Would you say that it kind of shot new life into your creativity or your inspiration? I mean, have you started writing again? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I have started writing again, but it did take like it took a little bit for me to not be super anxious about
Yeah.
the whole thing. Like the first thought when like everything happened was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever, and immediately after it was like, oh no, I have to follow this up with
Right.
something. And there was a while. I'm glad I got out of it as quickly as I did. It was only like a week or two where I was just like, oh man, I can't work on anything right now,
Right.
because it was just like I was like, oh, if I put out something that doesn't sound like this, then all the Put Your Records On fans are gonna not listen to it, and like I have such an opportunity here, I need to capitalize on it, and that kind of stuff, and that just made it super unenjoyable to work on music, and it made the music I was making like a lot worse. And I've kind of come out of that now, and I'm just trying to make what I want to make, and be intuitive about it. Um, but yeah, yeah,
Right.
there was a time where it was hard.
No, that's true. I mean, that is a lot of pressure. That is a lot of anxiety. I mean, anyone could understand that coming from the position you were in. I mean, it is, a lot to follow up. But I mean, this isn't a question. I'm just telling you now. Everyone that I know who's heard the song loved it, mainly because, of how it sounded production wise. And I think that's something that you have uniquely, and something that you can kind of achieve yourself. So we're excited to hear what you have in store in the future. I mean, I loved Her and All of My Friends. Lose Lullaby. I mean, it's just like, dude, that kind of like, for the lack of a better way to describe it, but that background, instrument there. I mean, it's so, you wouldn't think to put it there, and it just adds so much to it. So I mean, if you're capable of that, plus what you did to the cover, I'm personally excited for what you have in store. Do you think you have something down? And can you give us any tease or any kind of indication of when you might be putting out new music? Because I'm personally excited.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I I have I don't have a new album, but a new album should definitely come in 2021 at
Okay.
some point. Um, I have a single coming out pretty soon,
Mm-hmm.
uh, pretty to very soon.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be a good time, and it'll be interesting to see how people react.
There you go. RITT MOMNEY, thank you so much for joining us, man. This has been so much fun. It's been great to talk to you about this. Now, before I let you go, can you tell all of your listeners in Manila? I mean, that's crazy, dude. The Philippines. I mean, your song's blowing up here. People are playing it all the time, and it's getting so much airplay on our station as well here at 99.5 Play FM. Could you send a quick message to our listeners and, yeah, just tell them to keep requesting for the song and where they can follow you online?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first thing I should say is thank you to everybody listening and supporting from like halfway around the world. It's crazy to think about that. And yeah, like, of course, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Thank you. And if you like what you've heard so far, stay tuned. And yeah, I appreciate you guys.
There you go, folks. RITT MOMNEY here at 99.5 Play FM. Again, folks, my name is Renzo. You can follow me on social media at Renzosaurus. And again, if you loved the cover of Put Your Records On, you will absolutely love his full-length album, Her and All of My Friends. Please check it out right now. Once again, RITT MOMNEY here on 99.5 Play FM.